Hello everyone, and welcome back to another R tutorial video. And in this video I want to continue our discussion on R Markdown, talking about how we can create lists in R Markdown with basic text. I should specify this is R Markdown lists. This is not a list in the traditional programming sense. This would be like a grocery list, for example. And so in R Markdown, there are two types of lists. There are ordered lists, which include numbers, and there are unordered lists, which do not include numbers. So I want to start off by talking about the unordered list. So unordered lists, in order to make an unordered list, you do a star, just like we did with the italics, but you use a space, and then you type in what you want, item 1, and you do not wrap it with a second star. So this is different from italics, there's only one star. To make a second item, you simply do the same thing, star, space, item 2. If you want to have indentations, so multiple tiers, you do 2 tabs, so 1 tab, 2 tab, followed by the plus sign, space, sub item 1, shift equals for the plus sign, sub item 2. So I'm going to knit this, and I'm going to sort of spoiler alert a little bit that I actually did something wrong here. And when we knit it, you're going to immediately see, you may not understand why, but you're going to immediately see what I did wrong here. So if we knit it, you'll see that I wanted to make a list, but everything is sort of tacked up here at the end of numbers. And the reason why that happened is for the same reason that we talked about up here when we talked about how to put things on new lines. And you'll see that what I've done is I've stuck that first item in the list on a new line in our Markdown, right? I hit enter once and I started typing. But the way that our Markdown actually interprets this is because there's no extra white space here, and there's no 2 spaces trailing at the end of this line, it sees this item 1 as a continuation of this text. So just to recap, because I think this is extremely important and it's something that trips up a lot of people, is I just really want to recap how we can fix this issue. If we just put 2 spaces, 1, 2, this is going to tell our Markdown to interpret everything after this as a new line of text. And so if we knit now, you'll see that we have moved everything down a line. The other way that we could do that is to just put an extra white space in between. And if we knit, you'll see that we moved everything down. And so you'll see now that because we did that, we have item 1, item 2, sub item 1, and sub item 2. So hopefully that made sense. So let's talk about ordered lists, which include numbers. So just like before, in order to avoid that issue, we have to include an extra white line in between. So with numbers, it's actually really easy. You just type 1 period space number 1, 2 period space item number 2. And then just like before, if you want to include indented portions of the list, it's 2 tabs, so that's the tab key twice, a plus sign, sub item 1, the plus sign, sub item 2. So now if we knit this, you'll see that we have created an ordered list where we have item 1, item 2, and then if we wanted to go back, we could do 3 space item 3, and we can knit this, and you'll see that it will go back. So hopefully that makes sense on how we can do lists and how important it is to remember to include that extra white space in between to prevent the list from being um, mistaken for additional text. So hopefully this made sense. If you felt confused by anything, I encourage you to stop, go back, rewatch the video, and as always, please reach out. Thank you.